See you later, Jimin. Jungkook called out softly, a soft smile playing on his lips as he watched Jimin's small form scurry away. He couldn't help but find the boy's shyness endearing, and the way he had flushed at Jungkook's gentle teasing earlier only made him want to get to know Jimin even more. Hey, Jungkook, V, another one of his close friends, called out as he walked over to Jungkook's desk. What's with the smile? You look like you're plotting something mischievous. Jungkook chuckled and shook his head. Just thinking about someone interesting, he replied, his gaze still fixed on the door where Jimin had disappeared. V raised an eyebrow, a knowing grin on his face. Interesting, huh? Would this someone interesting happen to be the new student, the one you were teasing earlier? Jungkook shrugged, a playful glint in his eyes. Maybe he's unique. V laughed, a boisterous sound that echoed through the classroom. Unique, that's one way to put it. He looked like he was about to faint when you leaned in earlier. I was just playing around, Jungkook said, though a part of him knew that he had enjoyed seeing Jimin flustered. Well, you definitely made an impression on him, V said, a smirk playing on his lips. I don't think I've ever seen anyone get that worked up over your teasing. Jungkook felt a swell of satisfaction at V's words. He had to admit, he enjoyed the effect he had on Jimin. The boy was like a breath of fresh air, with his innocent reactions and genuine nature. He's cute, Jungkook admitted, unable to help himself. Really cute. V's grin widened. I knew it. You have a crush on the new kid. I do not have a crush on him, Jungkook protested, though his blushing cheeks gave him away. I just find him interesting. Sure, whatever you say, V said, patting Jungkook on the shoulder. But just so you know, I'm already shipping it. Jikook is real. Jungkook rolled his eyes at V's antics. You're ridiculous, you know that. I know, V said, unbothered. But I'm also right. Just wait and see. Jungkook shook his head, a smile still playing on his lips. He didn't know if he had a crush on Jimin, but he did know that he wanted to get to know the boy better. He was interesting, unique, and yes, incredibly cute. And Jungkook couldn't wait for their next interaction. Meanwhile, Jimin leaned against the bathroom wall, heart still racing. He slid down until he was sitting on the floor, hugging his knees. Why did I run? He whispered to himself, voice shaky. He was just so close. He buried his face in his sleeves, muffling a soft giggle, half nervous, half giddy. His cheeks burned just thinking about Jungkook's smile, that low voice, saying his name. I'm such a mess. He mumbled into fabric. But then he peeked up at the mirror across from him, saw his flushed face, the tiny sparkle in his eyes he hadn't seen in ages. For once. It wasn't fear making his heart pound. It was something else, something warm, something quiet but strong. And maybe, just maybe, it could be balance. Not too much shyness, not too much boldness, just feeling without running away. Jimin took a deep breath and stood up slowly. I'll see you later too. He whispered to no one this time, with a small, brave smile. Back in the classroom. Jungkook watched Jimin leave with a mixture of interest and a growing fascination. He couldn't help but laugh softly as V teased about his crush. Don't get ahead of yourself, he muttered, though his eyes remained fixed on the now empty doorway. where Jimin had vanished moments ago. You saw him. He was blushing like crazy. V persisted, a smug grin on his face. You totally like him. Jungkook rolled his eyes again, but couldn't hide the slight redness creeping up his own cheeks. Asterisk. As they began packing up their bags, another one of Jungkook's friends, RM, joined their conversation. I noticed you looking at the new kid all class, he observed, a knowing look in his eyes. What's up with that? Jungkook shrugged casually, trying to play it cool. Nothing much. Just checking out the new addition to our class. RM raised an eyebrow, clearly not buying it. He seemed pretty flustered around you. Asterisk. Jungkook felt his cheeks warm up even more at RM's observation. He hated being teased, and his friends were enjoying every moment of it. I was just messing with him, he replied, trying to sound nonchalant. RM smirked, leaning against the desk next to Jungkook. Right, and I bet messing with him involved leaning in really close and making him all flustered. Asterisk. Jungkook shot RM a glare, his cheeks now fully flushed. He was trying to act indifferent, but his friends were too observant for their own good. Shut up. You know I like messing with people, and he was an easy target, Jungkook muttered, continuing to pack his bag. Asterisk. V chuckled, unable to resist the opportunity to tease Jungkook even further. An easy target, huh? Is that what you call someone who turns as red as a tomato when you get close? Jungkook rolled his eyes again, his patience wearing thin. You guys are insufferable, you know that. Asterisk. RM just laughed, enjoying the banter. We're just having a little fun with you. Chill out, he said, patting Jungkook on the back. But seriously, he was blushing like crazy. You really have that effect on people, don't you? Jungkook let out a frustrated sigh, realizing that there was no escaping their teasing. Can we stop talking about this already? He groaned, zipping up his bag and slinging it over his shoulder. Asterisk. As they all began walking out of the classroom, V couldn't help but throw one last remark over his shoulder. All right, we'll drop it, he said, though the smirk on his face suggested otherwise. But just remember, Jikook is real. Jungkook huffed, his cheeks still pink from embarrassment. Asterisk. Why were they so damn relentless? Whatever. Asterisk. Jungkook muttered, shoving his hands into his pockets and quickening his pace to get away from the teasing. Asterisk. But as he walked down the hallway, a quiet smile tugged at his lips again, unseen by anyone. Asterisk. Because honestly, asterisk, he didn't hate it. Asterisk. Not one bit. Asterisk. As the school day progressed, Jungkook found himself constantly thinking about Jimin. The way he blushed when teased, his shy little giggle, the adorable way he played with the hem of his shirt. Asterisk. He tried to keep his interest in the newcomer under wraps, but it seemed like his friends weren't going to make that easy. Every chance they got, they would tease him about Jikook and ask if he had made his move on Jimin yet. Asterisk. Jungkook would just roll his eyes and dismiss their comments, claiming he was just intrigued by the new student. But secretly, he was starting to admit to himself that there was something more to it. During lunch, he found himself scanning the crowded cafeteria for a glimpse of Jimin, feeling a pang of disappointment when he didn't see him. His friends noticed his distracted demeanor and only teased him more. Looking for someone, Kook? V asked slyly elbowing him in the side. Jungkook shoved him away lightly, his cheeks reddening at being caught out. "No, I'm not," he denied, focusing his gaze down at his lunch. "Just looking around." But he couldn't fool his friends. They knew him too well. RM chuckled and joined in the teasing. Asterisk, right. Because you're not secretly hoping to bump into the adorable new kid you were making all flustered earlier. Jungkook let out an exasperated sigh, knowing there was no escaping the teasing. "Can you guys just knock it off? I told you. I just found him interesting, that's all." V smirked, raising an eyebrow. "Interesting, huh? Is that why you were grinning like an idiot when you were messing with him in class?"